Hey, fellow Restopians, welcome back to Restopia. So following on from my last video where I mentioned that I didn't have my iPad handy and I'd lost my X33 Skywalker. I've now made an effort to find it and I found it. Here it is. I do love it. Let's get that bezel straight. I can't remember if I've done a video of this before, so I might have to do a quick recap just in case I haven't. And I'm trying to find, there we go, I'm trying to find the center of that bezel. Double embellishments. You're not seeing double, just got double embellishments. I couldn't find anything worthy to bung there, so I thought I'd just double up on a previous one. Yeah, you got to get your freebie when you get a watch. You got to get them to give you a little gifty, a discount and a gift. So yeah, the X33. I'll show you the app in a sec. I've definitely talked about this before, but I just have a very quick in a Restopia style recap. So grade 2 titanium. It's grade 5 titanium class, so to be more scratch resistant. Quartz, it is a Speedmaster Professional. It's ESA, what is it? ESA, European Space Agency Flight Master, tested and qualified by them. Speedmaster Skywalker X33. 30 meters of water resistance, which is a bit weeny. Guess there's not really much going on in space. It actually has got see-through. It's a really interesting design to the case back. And you can actually, you're probably not going to get this on camera, but you can actually see through there. That is actually hollow. So when some poor guy has to change the battery if I don't do it, oh, there's a lot of screws there. There's going to be some crud in there, probably. But yeah, I just really like the design. It's an Ani-Digi. One thing I don't like about it, well, two things I don't like about it. One is, as it's a quartz, as always, the second hand doesn't hit the markers very, 100% accurately, which no quartz really does. I've never seen one, Grand Seiko, nothing. I've never seen one that does that. But, it hits some of them, some of the time. But it would be fantastic if it hit all the markers, as I'll show you in a minute. I don't use it too much, so I'm not really going to go through its functions, but it's got things like, well, actually, before I turn it on, so the other thing I don't like is that you cannot turn the digital display off. It goes off after 5 days, but once you reuse it, then it's on until it has a 5-day period of rest. But when it's off, you actually cannot see, no matter what way you angle it, you cannot see that there's a digital display there, which I thought I'd quite like. But actually, if I push the button now, let's get that, boom, then it pops up. I actually prefer, I mean, it's an Ani-Digi, so really it should have the analog and the digital display there, really. I actually prefer it in this form. So it does various things. It's got 3 alarms. It's got its party piece is it has which it's on at the moment, MET, mission elapsed time. So basically what you can do, you can set a timer to count down to a mission, to something. You can it then changes to the length of that mission, and it then changes to the time that's elapsed since the mission, and it will alarm, I think, at all those points. So you could set, I don't know, you could set Christmas lunch with your family for 2 hours. It'll count down to that point, and then it would count down the 2-hour lunch, and then it would count down how long ago it was since you finished the lunch. The Mars edition of this, I believe, probably does that as well, but it also has Mars time. So it shows you, which is really cool, it tells you the time on Mars, because Mars has its own time. It doesn't have a 24-hour clock like we do, so it's completely different to Earth. It's not like a GMT type function. It's completely different, and that will tell you the time on Mars, which is pretty cool. Never going to use it, but it's cool to know what time it is on Mars. What time is it on Mars? Ristopia. But yeah, I didn't like the colour of the bezel on that one, and it came out after this one. So, but I'm not really too keen on the bezel colour, really. I prefer this one. There is a regatta version of this, but instead of having little space rockets at 12, 3, 6 and 9, it has a star. The regatta version is particularly odd because, again, it still only has 30 metres of water resistance. And I think so it's got a pushable crown to do the various functions. I won't show you anything on here because I'm going to show you the app. And it's got pushes. Pushes at 2, 4, 7 and 8. No, that's not 8, 10. But yeah, 4 corners. And it, it's titanium, so it's nice and light. I think it's an interesting design. X33, I think the pushers look a bit like, and it just has, it's just very, very, very different. And I think it's quite nice to watch. I guess really, it's taken me back to my childhood. Not particularly to 1977 when Star Wars came out, but just kind of, this is a watch I would have loved to have had when I was 10. And now I can afford it. So it's sort of a nostalgic kind of cool thing, and it's a proper space watch. So it is a Speedmaster Professional, exactly the same as the mechanical manual wind ones are. They're certified by NASA. This is certified by ESA. But this is in space right now. Someone in space, I believe, I'm right in saying, someone in space, an astronaut or astronauts in space right now, if there are any space agency astronauts up there on some sort of, Hubble type thing, they're wearing one of these. So I think it's a pretty cool watch. But that's not why you're here. I said I'd show you the app, but finding the watch made me want to do it. So let me just unlock that. So this is the app. Let's get rid of those. I've been told that you cannot get this anymore. It's been discontinued, but because I've already downloaded it, then I've got it until this tablet dies. I haven't used it too much. One thing you'll probably notice, and I really like about this, I did mention the second-hand hitting the markers. Obviously, this is a digital version of the watch, a digital version of a digital watch. I think the second-hand hits the markers perfectly. If only the real thing did that. Oh, now I had to order this. It wasn't like I could just see it in the shop. And I was so worried about how it would hit the markers. They're not too bad on the first, they're at 20 seconds. It's perfect. And then it sort of starts to lose it going beyond that, and it gets a bit behind. But that's how all, 1 second tick quartzes are. There's going to be some discrepancy at some point. I mean, it's not horrendous. But yeah, the digital display version hits the markers perfectly. And basically what this does is you can play around. So it'll tell you what to do. Press the crown to navigate through the functions. So if I actually do that, it makes a noise. Can you hear that? And it will navigate through all the functions. Hold crown to change the function group. So if I keep that pushed down, did it do anything? Do I need to do that? There we go. I wasn't going near enough. It is quite intuitive. If you use it a fair bit, the real watch, I mean, it is quite intuitive as to what you do. Will that let me do anything? No. So that's general usage. And then you have UTC, which is GMT basically, but it's universal time coordinated. You got GMT's called various different things: GMT, UTC, Zulu time. I think there's another one, but Zulu time is interesting, as in the Longines Zulu time GMT watch. It's quite interesting why it's called Zulu time. I'm trying to think why it is now. It was a process that went down various stages. to be called Zulu time. It's quite, I'm not going to try and recount what it is because I'm not going to get it right, but it is quite interesting why it was called Zulu time. So you've got universal time coordinated, got different time zones, your alarms, mission elapsed time that I've mentioned. What's that one? Phase elapsed time. Phase elapsed time. This section explains how phases within, let's go back. Phases within a mission can be programmed to count up or down to a deadline. So you can have basically sections of a mission, I guess. Then you've got a countdown timer and, of course, a stopwatch, chronograph. But it's, I was going through these earlier. In fact, the backlight, so, yeah, I didn't see the backlight. Oh, yeah, it sort of did change colour a little bit. You can get the hands to do that thing where you kind of got to go through the sections, press to, there we go. So you can get it to functions group, done that. Let me go through the function group. Yeah, you get that one where the hands would move, move away. There we go. Woo! Well, it's kind of doing that. You get the hands to move away so that you can see the digital display beneath. But you kind of get the gist. Pull the crown. You can pull the crown as well. But yeah, you get the gist of it. It is very useful. It's much better than an instruction manual for the watch, because you can do it on here, and then you can obviously have the watch in your hand and do it on the watch as well, reading that. So you don't actually have to do it on there. You can have the watch in your hand and just read that and then do it on the actual watch. Yeah, I've got the mission elapsed time. So the mission elapsed time on here, the last mission I set it for was 69. You can see top left there on the digital display. It's 69 days, 3 hours, 31 minutes and 23 seconds ago was when that mission finished. And that was a what was that? That was a training course, which I used to try out the function. But for me, really, it's a nice, light, unusual watch. I mean, it is a Speedmaster Pro, but it's just a quartz version. Yeah, someone said to me, everyone needs a Speedmaster Pro in their collection, and yeah, this is mine. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you've enjoyed seeing the app, which as I say, I believe you can't actually get anymore. So that's maybe a quite a nice thing to see. I think that's all for now. So one wrist, live it.